Wiggle that knob until you can hear it. Wiggle it, girl.
It's been wiggled.
Yeah, we're gonna upgrade soon.
Soon, she says. By when?
I mean, first I have to unpack the rest of my
Do you need help?
the rest of my room.
I can help. Just say when.
It's one of those things where it's like you
just don't want to do it.
Well, you don't want to do it. Also, you got to do it yourself. So it's a bad combination.
Leads to procrastination.
Exactly. Yeah. Unpacking is the worst. It hasn't been a full year yet, so I don't feel like too bad about myself, but we're getting close. We're getting close to a full year in a new place and still haven't unpacked. And
it's hard once you get like the things that it makes it livable.
Yeah,
so
no,
like,
I
have
so
all
comfy.
I need.
Yeah. I'm so comfortable. I wake up, I have my little coffee, I hang out in the garden, do all these things that allow me to ignore the boxes in the studio.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'll happen eventually. Which reminds me, I was wondering, anytime we post something with our legs, like the shorts that we do, or the little thing that we've been doing, the hey guys, make sure you watch the next episode. People are like, oh, bring the legs back.
Yeah, duh.
So I wanted to ask the viewers, because I feel like not having the legs out make us look more professional.
Honey, it's what sets us apart.
But viewers,
brains and legs.
Viewers, do you want to see the legs? Do you want them to come back? Because we can do like a revamping of the set if the viewers want it.
I'm pretty sure they've been letting you know that they want it for a while.
It's like two people, though. It's the same two hornballs that slid in that are helping support you from your OnlyFans. Like, bring back the legs so I get something free to jerk off to. But
leave them alone. You can't hate them for trying.
They mean well, but I'm just saying, like, if you guys want us to bring leg back, let us know in the comments. But we have some crazy fights that went down last night, and we didn't get to put our picks out for undisclosed reasons. At least not on the Duelbits, on our Duelbits picks. But I was so wrong about Usman versus Buckley. So wrong.
Yeah. It was kind of baffling how it almost seemed like Buckley was unprepared for the level of wrestling that Usman was going to bring.
And you got to think who he brought in that's going to be that level, because there's only a handful of people who you can find who can mimic the type of like top pressure and aggression that Usman.
The thing is, at the OTC, there are many.
Oh, yeah.
There are many, many high-level wrestlers you could bring, and they could just be specialist wrestlers. They don't have to be MMA fighters. But I think that when you're fighting somebody with such a pedigree in any kind of discipline, this one, being Kamaru's wrestling pedigree, you have to bring someone in. That is like that. GSP did that, and that's what took him to the next level. And his wrestling coach was not anybody who had any MMA experience, but it gave him the pressure that he would feel what he needed to be successful.
Yeah, I think in this fight, though, you saw a lot of the really tough positions up against the fence. So I feel like that's going to be the thing that's hard to mimic when you're getting ready for an Usman fight, that a lot of people counted out because Buckley has been so good at avoiding the takedown or getting back up. But Usman's pressure up against the fence, whether he was getting the takedown or just taking him down and then smashing him against the fence and putting him in this like just infinity smash where he's almost up, then he scoops his legs out, then he goes to the other side, then he gets the arm trap and breaks him down. Like, those are things that are more MMA, but like good wrestlers are able to learn that pretty quick. So I feel like to give Buckley the benefit of the doubt, I feel like even if he was training with really good wrestlers, D1 guys, like, they're not going to have that same knowledge of the fence work and having that extra floor behind you that basically puts you back on the floor once you get pushed up against the cage.
No, I see your point of view. I think this was a really hard lesson learned, but very necessary to take Buckley to the next level. And we saw in the 5th round that he still had a lot to give in the fight, and it took him all those rounds to start making those reads, and it could be a combination of Usman slowing down a little bit like that in the 5th. But what it looked like is he was still in the fight. He was still making good reads. He was able to defend once he had felt it and kind of got his bearings. It was just a little bit too late.
Yeah, one thing Usman kept saying was how strong he was. And you could see that Usman looked really stupid strong once you actually saw Buckley defend the single leg. Like that grip, his little this thing from my god,
these
like what is that machine that pulls things? I don't know. I
don't know.
There's a like I don't know, like a forklift or something. He just locks in and he's able to pull him in, and he had to like use his entire body, like Buckley's entire body, like flung backwards in order to avoid it. Like he had to turn into an arrow in order to break the grip. Like if you have to use your entire body to break a grip, that's a strong ass grip. So I think he made it look really easy, and that's where a lot of like the commentators were picking up on, like, oh man, that was a really easy looking takedown from Usman. You know, I think it's just that strength factor that we haven't seen because, you know, he was able to get reversed against Leon Edwards. People were judging him for that. Then he moved up a weight class and people were judging him for not beating Khamzat. So it's like, yeah, he's 0-3, but
at the highest level.
At the highest level, and also it's a weird one when you're just destroying someone. You get knocked out at the last minute and then you have to fight him again. I think it's just like a strange, like he kept saying, get the monkey off of my back. And that was those 3 fights, you know, like those 3 fights were just eating away at his confidence, eating away at like his belief in himself. And he really was able to just shuck all that off and go and do what he knew he could do.
Yeah, it takes a win to get the monkey off of your back is, you know, what it's referring to. It's really
By
hard.
the way, let me warn any white fighters.
What?
if you're gonna use that term or phrase, don't use it when you fight a black guy because it might get misconstrued. You might look like a homeboy with the Nazi tattoos. So he was like, I just thought it was a cool eagle.
It's on a poster in my wall at my grandfather's house.
Yeah.
I admired it ever since I was a child.
Oh, why is everyone getting so bent out of shape?
I don't understand.
This is a common phrase. Everyone says that.
And that phrase is as old as time. I actually wonder, like, you ever look up where the origins of sayings are from? I wonder what that one is from.
Ooh, let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up. But what do you think happens next for Usman? He looked amazing in this fight. He just dominated 4 out of the 5 rounds. I think he matches up really badly, or not really badly, but he's a nightmare for a lot of, pun intended, for a lot the matchups at the top
Nigerian
5.
Nightmare,
yes.
if you will.
He is a Nigerian nightmare.
Of the Nigerian variety. The worst kind. Well, we saw Bilal stepping in and chiming in really quickly after the fight, and Kamaru expressed that he's not interested. He completely dissed him.
Bilal.
But everybody does that in response to Bilal, to be honest. It's just kind of like
because he's a nightmare.
The thing to do. I would like to see that fight.
Yeah, he's definitely he's a Palestinian nightmare. That's where he's from, right? I know he represents Palestine.
We'll say yes.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll correct us if not.
Sorry,
we can Google that too.
Okay, first we got to figure out where monkey on the back came from.
Where that one comes from. So Kamaru Usman is number 5. Above him is Leon Edwards, Shavkat, Sean Brady, Bilal, and then Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, I'd like to see him against Shavkat, Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady's probably the best option, to be honest. I feel like he could make a statement. I feel like that's a really good fight. I feel like Sean has been climbing that ladder and just on the cusp of greatness. And what better way to have these two fight it out to see who's top dog?
Yeah, I like that, especially because he did lose to
Bilal.
Bilal, yeah, and I think it would be fair. I definitely think it would be a fair one.
I mean, I know he's not interested, but I would actually really like to see him fight Belal.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Especially because there's just been so much like beef on Twitter. There's just like been a war of words. It's
really?
it's been going on forever.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I do remember that.
They've just been like throwing shade at each other.
It's just,
I'm like, what happened? Are you like vouching to be like your manager's favorite?
well, yes.
They're having like a sibling rivalry.
Well, it's just Ali.
I know, but they want to be his favorite.
No, it's Ali signing into Bilal's Twitter saying something. Then he signs out, signs back in. Sometimes he fucks up. He quote tweets Bilal and writes a response as Usman. And then he's like, oh shit. And then he deletes it. So you never know, man. You never know. There's a lot of things explaining the meaning, but I can't find the
You gotta ask ChatGPT.
origin. Well, I did, but it was mostly about origin. Okay, originally to have a monkey on one's back or a black monkey, on one's back referred sulking or being lost in anger. During the 1930s, this idiom was transferred to drug addiction, specifically heroin addiction. It has since been transferred to any general long-standing problem. Like the most likely explanation for this idiom is that a monkey refers to the devil.
Does it?
Monkeys have often, throughout history, been associated with evil, the devil, heresy, black people. No, I'm joking. It's
Stop
not
it!
and other irreligious concepts. This is possibly because monkeys appear to be some kind of distorted caricature of humans. As well, the devil has. Okay, this is enough. All right, so yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like a monkey it freaks people out. Monkeys freak people out. It's like that uncanny thing.
Yeah,
with
sure.
vampires and shit, and how like the uncanny makes it freaky and people are scared of it. So yeah, interesting. Well, I learned something today.
And as did all of we.
Anyway, and what do you think is next for Buckley after this fight?
I don't think this damages his standing as, greatly, but I think it does take away a bit of his momentum. I could see him fighting, somebody still in the top 10, but maybe not necessarily moving up the ladder as quickly as he wanted to. Like this would have been a huge statement for him to, to say like, hey, I get the title shot next, or I get to fight who was it? Ian Machado Gary. But we'll see what happens with him. I think that it would be fun to see him fight. Let's see who.
Let's take a look at the list.
Let's take a look.
Am I crazy for still thinking that he could hang with Shavkat?
Yes.
Because we've seen Shavkat get roughed up on the feet.
Yeah, but I still think,
like, especially after this fight, I think this is the wake-up call that Buckley needed.
For sure. That's what I mean. It's a hard lesson.
Yeah, to get those reps in, especially up against the fence against someone who's such a pressure fighter. He has to do what Belal did, what a lot of these guys did, and get the Dagestanis out and have them teach him the ways of just like that pressure game, that handcuff game, the mermaid legs game. Like that was all stuff that we've seen Khabib do over and over again to people. And if you don't have someone who's able to mimic that and you're fighting someone who's good at that, then you're going to drown so fast. So I think that's the wake-up call that he needed to go find a team where he can just rep that out for a few months. And then once you have it, it's kind of there, like you're suddenly hard to keep down because you understand how they're doing it. You can even do it yourself. And I think after a few months of training like that, I feel like his striking is still going to be a problem for Shavkat, especially if he's able to fix those holes in this Usman fight.
This was a necessary lesson that he needed to learn. It exposed a gap in his game, which we really haven't seen before. And to get him to the next level, this is what he needs. So I think that this loss is a great learning experience for him. But I think somebody like Shavkat would be a tough fight for him after what we saw.
I think that's the fight they're gonna make. Shavkat's been injured too. Usman is in the picture. He's trying to jump the ladder or jump the line and fight whoever beats Jack Della and who is it? Islam.
But they could drop him. I mean, they could drop him all the way down to, I mean, not his ranking necessarily, but they could give him somebody in the top 15, the top 10. I want to see him fight maybe like a Carlos Prates.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that would be a fun fight. They're both coming off of a loss, but they're still, very tough fighters, and each one of them had fights where a weakness was exposed. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be a great fight.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna happen though, the Shavkat one, especially because you have the 19-0 guy. You want to give him somebody who you think that he can beat, so he can continue to have this reign of undefeatedness. I feel like that might be the next one.
It could be something like a Tatiana Suarez situation, though, where like they don't want to ruin that undefeated fighter mystique.
That's
do you know what I'm saying?
That's true, because they do know he has that like button. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, great fight. The emotions afterwards was really, really sweet too.
I love seeing a man show his emotions.
I know. I love seeing a man cry. Cry love for me, daddy. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, he blames it on being a girl dad, but come on, bro. You were crying before you had kids.
You're a sweetheart. It's okay.
It's okay to be like,
you beat people up at the highest level. You can cry. You give yourself permission to do whatever you want.
I know. It's fine. We love it. I love seeing that emotion from him because you see how hard he had to work to get there. Mm-hmm. Like, I still say he didn't use his knees at all when he wrestled Buckley. Like,
when you're at that high a level of a wrestling, you don't have to use the knees.
He was either bending at the waist or he would spring forward like a cat.
It's that Olympian style wrestling.
He was like a panther. He just went boing, didn't have to bend his knees at all. Just shot him for that arm, for those legs, and was able to like ring him in like a friggin' bull rider. It was really impressive. It makes me want to get better at not using my knees for a takedown.
You're like, I don't need to do this.
It's like, wait, I don't have to do squats? Like, what? But those wrestling practices had to have been hell on his body. Just figuring out what works and what doesn't. Just working around an injury. I know we've all been there before, where it's just so tough to feel as strong and as capable as you did when you were at 100%. And he was even in the press conference, he was even saying like, let's not lie here. Like, obviously I'm not where I was in my prime. Obviously I'm not where I was when I was defending the belt, but I'm still that guy. Mm-hmm. He's probably less than 70% right now. He's probably a solid 68.
Is he close to 30 or is he far away?
Oh man, somewhere in between. But it was really cool seeing him show that for a second, and I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. Even though I was rooting for Buckley, there's a part I always get a little misty eyed when the older guy gets the win and shows that he still got the juice. So. Yeah, excited for that one. Mm-hmm. Or excited for what's next for him. But what did you think about the co-main?
The co-main, we had the ladies representing in the flyweight division. I thought Rose Namajunas looked really good, but it was a hard-fought fight. Miranda Maverick gave her fits in some areas. Mm-hmm. I was not sure how the judges would score it, to be honest. It could have gone either way in maybe the first.
Yeah.
And, it came down to the third, in my opinion. And I mean, the third, Rose turned it up when she found her rhythm, when she figured out how best to work with it. It's kind of weird fighting somebody that you've trained with, because maybe in the training room you can, get away with certain things and people aren't going 100%. They're, maybe trying something, working on something. So they're leaving some openings that, maybe won't be there in the fight. But it looked it looked like Miranda Maverick was giving her a harder time than maybe Rose anticipated.
Yeah, well, Miranda was full of confidence going into this one. I was able to talk to her before she fought, and she was just saying how they trained together for a long time, and it didn't phase her at all. It was she knew where she would win. She felt like she would win in the grappling department. She felt like Rose would win in the striking department. And honestly, like I felt like Rose. There was more competitiveness in the grappling department, but I feel like she was a little surprised when Rose was able to like escape out of that deep head and arm choke, was able to get on top at some points, was able to wrestle her down. Like, I don't think Maverick was fully prepared for Rose to be as good as she was.
It was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
We see Rose get the takedown, but we don't see a lot of like the crazy grappling exchanges. So I can understand how it was a little bit surprising to Maverick. And honestly, I think Maverick goes into fights usually having a strength advantage, and it didn't really work for her this time.
And that's the other thing when you're training with people, you fight at the same weight class, but you don't always walk at the same weight class. There are like, there are girls who I see that I fought and I'm like, who's that?
All the time.
Who's that guy? You know?
All the time. I'm like, what do you walk around at?
And I'm like, yo, you're bigger than my husband. What are you doing at 115?
And yeah, they're used to being like hefty. They're used to being able to throw around that weight in the training room.
Yeah.
And then when you make weight, it equalizes it. Yes, you can put on more weight than, you know, a smaller person in the weight class, but it still equalizes it in a way that can be a bit surprising.
Yeah. Like you're not suddenly throwing an extra 20 pounds around against this person you're fighting. It's only like 10 at the most. Like usually like people don't rehydrate to more than like, I don't know, 10 12
pounds.
Yeah.
If you're a female, men's a little bit different.
Yeah, you can see it sometimes.
Men can pack that poundage on, retain the water weight. But females typically, you know, it's going to be plus or minus 10.
Yeah. So it's not going to be as big of a difference in the training room. It was interesting to hear talk about training together because the veteran in me is like, ooh, girl, she tricked you. She's like, I know where I win and I know where she wins and I'm going in there really confident about this. And I'm like, that's a trap. That's a trap.
Listen, it's very important to know those kinds of things when you're, you know, breaking down a fight, when you're studying footage, when you're preparing. You need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, where you can win, where your opponent can win, and then you train accordingly. If you don't, you can end up in trouble, as we saw with Buckley versus Usman.
Yeah.
But you cannot, you should not overestimate.
Yes.
Things. You have to be prepared for everything.
But I think she did flow well in the fight. She looked a little uncomfortable on the feet more than she usually does. And I think that kind of stemmed from whatever past experiences she had sparring Rose on the feet. But I think once you got to the last round, she really like went after her. I was surprised that people thought that she won the first round. I thought it was a little back and forth, but I thought Rose had the bigger moments. And then I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the second round because Rose was pretty much dominating until like the last minute.
See, it's those last moments of the round
Yeah.
that always worry me because that's what the judges are going to be distracted by in my mind.
Yeah.
The first round, I just so what I saw in the first round, and I didn't know how it would be scored, is Rose is more of a precision volume striker at that point. And the things that Miranda were doing were bigger and more powerful. So I didn't know what would be more attractive to the judges.
One thing that clued me in was when she dropped her in the third and all the commentators were like, what hit her? What? We didn't even see it. It was too fast to see it. And these guys actually train and watch fights. So what do you think the judges saw that entire round where she's hitting her quick little switch jabs and check hooks and all that stuff? They're missing it too.
Yep.
they're like fixing wiping their glasses off and yawning and eating their hard candies and missing all the fast stuff that happens.
You know, I haven't heard Adelaide Bird's name mentioned in a while. Speaking of glasses and candies.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's been a while.
I feel like those are all Adelaide Bird references.
Her driver's license finally got revoked, and she can't make it to the events anymore.
No, what will the MMA world do without her?
Darn.
It's harder to judge a strawweight fight, a flyweight men's fight, like all the speedy guys. It's harder to judge those guys than like a heavyweight fight because everything happens in a split second, and if you blink, you miss it.
Oh, I had to wait for the replay. I didn't see it.
I was like, I saw it. I saw that shit. And y'all miss it every time. And that's the problem with MMA judging. They miss that shit. The person who got hit remembered it. But yeah, it was a good fight. And I saw that Rose was calling for, or saying that she wanted a title fight next, but she's just gonna see what's offered to her. She's just saying what she wants, putting it out there. I don't know if she expects it, but she's just willing it, which I think is smart. Like, just say that you're interested, just in case there's an opportunity, even if you don't think they're gonna give it to you.
I don't think they'll give it to her just yet.
Yeah,
I think there are other fights to make. I would love to see her fight.
Jess.
Sorry, and I'm rooting for Rose. I love watching her fight. I want to see her climb the ladder. I'm absolutely rooting for her. I just think that from what we've seen from who she's lost to in her performances and stuff, I don't think it will happen right now. Not saying that it couldn't. I just don't think that it will because there are other people in line. But I would love to see her fight Jasmine. I would say Macy, but I don't see Macy being booked anytime soon with her health issues.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you got to wonder how long she stays up in the rankings too. If she's not able to compete, if she's not able to show up for fights, and that part always would frustrate me with the rankings and stuff when you have someone who's really inactive. And looking at someone like Usman is totally different because he became champion. You know, he's up there for a reason. But when you look at someone like Macy, it's like she's been there, but not really. It's kind of how I felt about Amanda Ribas too. She's been up there, but not really fighting often.
And in 2 weight classes.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, how is this person able to remain up there when there's people who are winning and losing, but still being more active and getting better wins? It just,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And that
sucks.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair question.
So I think, with time, she'll probably slide down. But yeah, everyone's kind of TBD right now from number 7, which is Rose, to Shevchenko. So we'll see who ends up getting booked.
Yes, we will see.
We shall see. Yeah, and she's fought everyone. She's fought Manon. She fought Blanchfield. Grasso she hasn't fought yet, right?
Yes.
That would be fun.
That could be a fun one, too.
Yeah,
I vote for Jasmine Jasudavicius or Alexa Grasso. Those are my picks.
Yeah,
I would be happy with either.
I'm with you on that. Well, we had some other pretty fun fights, but one fight I want to talk about is our homie.
Who's our homie?
Well, my homie Paul Craig in that ridiculous DQ that had, well, not a DQ.
It was a no contest.
No contest.
But the thing is, so we just determined that a no contest is accidental. There was nothing accidental about that up kick. I'm sorry, there was not.
He might have said that.
You're just saying that because you're his friend.
Well, I'm saying that because I've done it before. And like when somebody stands up and then sits back down in your guard, you're not really paying attention to the fact that they're back down on their knees. Like you're up kicking them to get them off of you. So like right before that happened, he stands up. He throws some punches, then he gets down on his knees. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't accidental because it looked like he was about to stand up again, but he didn't.
It was a direct hit.
He was still on his knees, but he didn't hit his head. The replays show that he hit him in the neck.
He hit him here.
He hit him in the neck.
He hit him here.
You could see a clear neck hit.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. I slowed it down. I was like, that's neck.
It looked very dramatized, with you know, from impact to falling to like it was very confusing.
I was annoyed because I remembered seeing him look at the ref, but then I blinked and he was unconscious on the floor.
And then he tried to leg attack the ref.
And then, for a long time.
He was going at it. I was like, wow, I'm like, maybe he did get hit really freaking hard.
Have you ever seen someone attack the ref for that long?
I mean, I've seen people attack the ref.
I've never seen him go, hey, ref, what's going on? And then wake up, huh? Where am I?
It was
am I in the desert? Okay, I'm gonna wrestle you. Like, the timing of all his things that he remembered people doing when they got knocked out was not the same as what we've seen.
So what I'm hearing you say is you don't believe him. You think he was faking it. I don't know. I wasn't in his head. It looked really confusing.
Maybe I should pull it up again for you.
I watched it a few times.
Oh God,
I did watch it a few times. Listen, I don't know how I would act if I just got hit with like a 4x4. I don't know.
I know how Kayla Harrison acted. She was like, "Hey, tell your girl to stop doing that."
Different size leg creates different size impact.
I mean, the leg to head ratio is about the same though.
The optics did not look great. I can understand how there's a lot of people that are buzzing about him acting. I completely understand. But what I will say, which impressed me so much, was Paul Craig in his post-fight interview. He's just all class the whole time and just acknowledging that he made a foul, he made a mistake, and he hasn't seen it, so he's not going to be like reactive and judgmental to what happened. And if I was not
wait
a fan
till
of
he
him,
sees it.
If I wasn't a fan of him before, that was the face.
Waiting for the slow-mo.
Okay. Listen, as I was saying, if I wasn't a fan of him before, I'm a fan of him now because the way he handled everything was very graceful.
Neck.
And very respectful. That's afterwards.
Look. Oh.
Slow it down.
Oh, wait.
Hold on.
How do I make this big? Okay.
Make it big.
Neck.
It's his face.
It was his neck. It was his neck. He looks at the ref.
It hit the neck and the face.
A toe might have grazed the face, but that was his neck.
Listen, I understand.
You love you some Bellato, man. You're like,
no.
Look, that is his neck.
He can't even see
for it. He turned and it hit his neck.
I see a lot of fighters being, you know.
That was his neck.
Listen, I see a lot of fighters getting fouled, and then people say that they're like dramatizing, and I think some of them do. I think some fighters dramatize. Eye
contact. He tries to attack the leg, and then he continues to attack the. That is ridiculous. No, it's really weird,
Jessica.
Listen, I can't believe you're defending this guy.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
I can't wait for Paul Craig to see the replay. Like, I wish I could be there in person, so you go, oh, that's a load of shit. He'd call it bollocks. That's what they say.
Bollocks.
In Scotland, bollocks.
I like it.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. When I saw it live, I was just like, wait, why is he still going? What? Oh, come on, that doesn't look normal. And then seeing the slow motion replay, I was just like, man.
No,
he was trying to game it. But I feel like the commission did a good job because they could have ruled it a DQ, like you were saying, but because I feel like the unintentional shot thing happened because they could smell that something fishy was going on with his reaction.
No, I think that they did the right thing. in the heat of the fight, things can happen. And I don't think it was necessarily intentional, although it looked like a direct hit. The replay shows a little bit something different. But again, what I wanted to get across is a lot of people want to jump on fighters for trying to game the system or trying to take advantage of a foul. And I just want to err on the side of caution and just like give people the benefit of the doubt.
For sure. Good for you. You're such a high horse. But we've watched a lot of fights, and if you're going from past like what you've seen people do in the past, like even looking at a Johnny Walker knockout highlight reel, like you're gonna see a lot of weird reactions. But what he did not make sense.
It was confusing.
What he did not make sense. He had time to look at the ref, flop down unconscious, wake up, make eye contact with the ref, grab his leg, make eye contact with him again, then start trying to leg lock him. Like, it was really, really strange.
It looked like you were playing the UFC game and your fighter's glitching.
Yeah. No, exactly. You're just like, wait, why is his head underneath the canvas? How did that happen?
No, it's by far the strangest reaction I've ever seen. And we've seen fighters react in funny ways, but just not all in sequence like that. It was either like one or the other.
Especially if he's going to benefit from this guy really getting the book thrown at him for landing that shot. Yeah. Like, that's what makes it fishy.
I totally understand.
Because if it was a DQ, he's either going to take a point or they're going to stop it and he gets to win.
But I think he was going to win anyways.
I'm just saying, he was gaming it.
He could be. Totally could be. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for right now. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. Let's move on. Because that boy was just acting his ass off. And you know it. You just don't want to admit it.
Well, I don't know for sure. I wasn't in his head. I wasn't there. I was not in his head. I don't know. But it did look bad. I will say that.
He went to the, never mind. There's a stupid show, the Harley Quinn show, and it's like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, and it's like a cartoon, but like we watched all the seasons. It's pretty funny, and the dynamic between Harley Quinn, aside from them being a lesbian couple, the dynamic between Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy actually reminds me of us. So, like, I would watch this show, and there's a character on there called Clayface, and he's an actor in the show. And so, in my head, I was like, he went to the Clayface acting school, like, because he's a really bad actor. I have been attacked! And then he'd fall over. Who are you? Are you my opponent? Let me leg lock you. Like, that's what it looked like.
I'll have to watch it.
It looked really bad. But yeah, I think you would enjoy that show. It's a good show.
Anything with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, I would probably enjoy. I used to watch the cartoons when I was little, and I used to always like really perk up when they had a bit.
No, it's made for our generation that watched it when we were little, but now we're grown up and we have like grown up like senses of humor.
Oh,
yeah, it was really good.
That sounds appealing.
Yeah, so I actually wasn't super like grabbed by a lot of the main event fights. They were really good.
No, the preliminary card was better.
But the prelims just like outshone them just with the finishes, with like even the decisions were like really like heavily contested. But there were a couple feel good moments for me in the prelims. The first one was Philip Rowe beating Loosa. That was such a crazy comeback fight. And then he had reached out to me. I think he was reaching out to a lot of people just because he was kind of stuck on the shelf for a year and he felt ready to go and he wasn't sure what was going on, but time kept passing and they kept, saying that they were looking. And as someone who, loves to be active, I'm always in the gym. I'm like, I felt horrible for him because you only have a small window of time where you feel like you're at your prime, and if you're going into the gym, if you're training every day, you feel like hungry and confident and you feel good. there's no telling when an injury is gonna pop up. There's no telling when like you're just gonna fall off, and then the opportunity comes. So he was just having a lot of trouble nailing down that next fight, and I feel like he thought he was on the chopping block if he lost this fight. There was a lot going through his head coming into this one, and you could tell because that first round and a half, he was really just struggling. You know, he was on his back. He was stuck. He wasn't really able to, like, you could tell it didn't look like he was unprepared. It just looked like Loosa was really good at holding him down.
He was pretty vocal about it after his fight that he said that he had not been able to show his true self, and he felt down and frustrated about it. And that could have been his inner dialogue going into that first round and experiencing that, and whatever it was that shifted that was great, because he ended up having a great performance. His boxing in the pocket looked great. He ended up getting, what was it, a TKO?
Yeah.
He ended up getting the TKO. Once he just made that decision inside of his head, I feel like the whole landscape of the fight changed.
Yeah, and sometimes making the decision can seem less complicated than it is.
No, it's hard.
But it's like,
it's not easy.
When you're being smashed and it feels like it's impossible to move this guy, sometimes you just got to like move your hips to the side, and then you're like, oh, I can breathe again, like, oh, there's space. But it literally feels like impossible a lot of times. And your corner is telling you what to do, and you can hear them, but it's just like, bro, like, it's not working, or it's not going to work, or like, I don't know, like, just shut up and let me think. And I feel like he was able to go into that last round and really open up. He was having success in the second round too, but then there's this one position that I always tell people, like, be careful if you're going there like that Muay Thai plum, because with the big gloves, this is really safe. Yeah. Like, you can block with your shoulders. There's not as much space. But with the little gloves, like, you can have someone's head down and they can reach around, especially when they're built like Loosa, who's just like a little rock with like long arms. You can punch over like that, and that actually hurts you. Like, that actually does some damage. So he got a little hurt there, but was able to come back. And in that third, like, especially after he knocked his mouthpiece out, he went to town on dude. Like, it was a real, like, I felt bad for Loosa, because that was the most brutal finish that I've seen in a long time, especially a TKO. Like, yeah, you got brutal, like, one punch knockouts, but a TKO where he's just pounding his face over and over again against the fence. His hands is not in his eyes, but his fingers like across his eyes. It's almost like those torture scenes you see in movies where they have the eyes taped
like
open.
Clockwork Orange.
Yes. You can't close your eye even though you know you're about to get punched in it. He's just like, ah! It was so brutal. I loved it. And the whole time I'm like, his teeth, oh my God. But he got that knockout. He got that big comeback, and I'm really happy for him, because he went through so much emotionally getting into this fight. And it's like a lot of people are going through the stuff that Usman went through on a much lower scale. And it almost feels more desolate because you're not getting paid as much. You haven't made a name for yourself yet. You don't know if you're ever going to be able to. It's really like heart-wrenching to go through that whole process. So yeah. I was really happy for him.
Yeah, and I mean, it is an individual kind of frustration. No matter where you're at, if it's happening to that person, it's always bigger than what it is, Mm-hmm. It's at whatever phase you are in your career, it's yours. So it's even more frustrating and devastating, and under a microscope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was a cool knockout to watch. And then the other one, of course, was the Wellmaker knockout of poor Chris Moutinho.
Man, it was hard for me to Moutinho. It's really hard for me to, I don't know,
to enjoy it.
Yeah,
well, that's
it
the
is.
thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like everyone's going through something. So I can't even watch a fight and fully enjoy. Like I say, I enjoyed that Loosa knockout, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, his poor teeth. I hope they're still intact. Oh, his eye. Oh, he might have like a cornea scrape because his eye was being held open as he was getting punched in it. And like, oh man, he was doing so well in the first and second. Like
Yeah, no,
like I go to both sides. I become both fighters' moms. And I'm just like, oh,
I
poor
experienced the
baby.
same thing. So it's like I can see how much of like an amazing experience this is for Malcolm Wellmaker. On the Contender Series, gets this big TKO win in his previous fight. He gets the 50K. He quits his job. He calls his shot to get on the Atlanta card, short notice. Now he's there. He gets the big knockout. Like, what an amazing experience for him. But then you look at Chris Moutinho, and it's like he's called on short notice. He's already been cut from the UFC. He had a streak of wins on the local circuit, so he gets this shot. But again, he's stepping up on short notice against a killer in a weight class that is too big for him, and he gets flattened again.
Yeah, it's really a shame because looking at his Tapology, he was on a 5-fight win streak, and it's not against chumps. Like a lot of times people say 5-fight win streak outside of UFC, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Who are they? But these guys had good records, most of them winning records. If not the only one that wasn't a winning record, or the only couple that weren't winning records, they still had a ton of fights in them. So it was pretty crazy. Elijah Harris.
Who that?
That's like a heavyweight. Oh wait, no, there's a different Elijah Harris.
There's
okay.
There can be two.
I'm like, what weight class was he fighting in? Yeah, so he was fighting good guys. He did exactly what he needed to do to get back into UFC. Like he fought guys with good records, with a lot of wins on their Tapology, and he finished all of them. And then he gets back and he gets the roughest welcoming party. I mean, when I got cut from the UFC, I went on a 4-fight win streak. I won the Invicta title. And then they were like, oh, cool. Your prize is to come back and fight Jessica Andrade. She needs a tune-up fight before she fights for the belt. And I'm like,
sign me up.
Let's go.
You're not going to turn down the opportunity to get back into the UFC. So it's understandable that he would step up on short notice. He would take this risk against this upcoming fighter who the UFC is happy to push and give a platform for. It's just still, when you look at the reality of the situation, it's a hard one.
Yeah, it is. It is. But on the Wellmaker side, what a friggin' story. What a come up. This guy, like, they need to protect him at all costs. Like, he is so just humble, it seems like
his
he's
energy
confident,
is amazing.
But like, I love everything that he said in his post-fight presser. He's like, I don't care who's next. The only people that matter to me, the only names that matter to me are the names in this cage with me. I was like, oh.
No, he's a kid you want to root
Sweetheart.
for. No,
oh
he
my
looks like
goodness.
a total sweetheart.
He is. And I'm just like, dude, this is the type of person that I want to root for, even though they just got onto the scene. You know, like he's getting these really crazy knockouts. He looks really comfortable in there. Just feel he commands the space really well. He works on his feints. He sets traps, and yeah, I'm interested to see how he looks once he gets tested a little bit more, because I feel like his power is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be afraid of. And I hope like the same thing doesn't happen with him that happened with someone like an Adrian Yanez, where the hype train kind of came before he was ready for the huge test. I feel like Giannis could have been protected a little bit more on his way up and then gotten those big shots that he ended up dropping. But I think with Wellmaker, I'd like to see them allow him to just get his wins. It's kind of like the Sean O'Malley thing that he said. He's like, why would I fight ranked guys if I'm not making ranked guy money?
Well,
and I think
fair enough.
I think someone like Wellmaker could definitely make a lot of money in the UFC, especially how hype people are on him. But I think they have to be selective with the fights that they take so he doesn't get too much too soon.
I think they will be. I think that they do a good job for the most part of like cultivating their Contender Series products.
Products.
Yeah.
It's a factory. Oh, we got another one fresh off the presser.
Well, that's the trend that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
If you're on the Contender Series, you make a big statement. They are happy to kind of like guide you to success until a certain point, and then, it's sink or swim time.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm hoping he gets a lot of time to get to that point. But that was a really nice knockout. The way he set it up, he was just landing body shots the whole time, landing his stab kicks, which I love, and then using that like back foot to set up the big right hand. It was just so nasty, and the way that he whips it around, it comes from like back here, but it's so fast. Like you're looking at the knee, so he has time to load it up, and just that whip on his right hand is insane.
Yeah, he did a great job. He made great reads. He seems like very educated beyond his years.
Yeah, he does. And I remember being really hype on the kid that he made do a cartwheel before he fought him. Like, even though he's fighting people in the same kind of generation as him, he's still doing crazy things that no one else has been able to do to these fighters. Like, Sean O'Malley fought Chris Moutinho and had a much tougher time putting him out. Yeah, so this is an awesome kid to keep an eye on, especially because he's just so likable, and you just want to see him do well.
I agree.
Any other fights that popped out to you?
Not really.
Should we talk about Vanessa Demopoulos taking her short notice fight against Jamie Lynn Horth and doing the Homer Simpson run on the cage?
The way she was climbing onto the cage and then like falling to half guard or to like side, bottom
she gave
side.
her side control.
Yes, but she was just being creative and trying to do what she possibly could, because doesn't have great striking, and she's the shorter fighter, and she doesn't have great takedowns against a big strong fighter who has range on her. So she was just trying to do whatever she did. And I respect that, and I can appreciate that. She was being creative. But when you are the smaller fighter and you are not as well-rounded, and you're going up against somebody who has size, length, and weight on you, it's going to be a tough night. So you're going to have to pull out all the tricks.
Yeah, that was definitely a trick.
It's what?
It was a trick, but I don't remember if that's how they ended up on the ground when she hit it, but she tried to go for like a flower sweep, and it looked like if she had a little bit more time, she could have got it in there. That what was that, in the first round? I'm like, oh, okay. Like it does look like Horth is a little afraid, or was a little afraid of her ground game after that. Like she was a lot less willing to go for her own takedowns, less willing to like engage in the clinch at all. And I feel like I lost a little respect for Horth's striking, because dude, like that knee that she was throwing, like she's leaning back and throwing a knee at the same time, and it just looked like there was no power on it. Like it must have landed on Demopoulos' head like 5 times and nothing happened, and it was just, I felt like and I think Demopoulos does this to everyone, but because of her pressure, because she just rushes forward, she has no respect for getting punched in the face by you or kicked in the body by it. Yeah, she's not, I love it. Do it again. She doesn't care. So I think that throws a lot of people off. And yeah, it seemed like Horth was having a lot of trouble finding the mark. But even when she did, it didn't seem like she really committed to anything. And they were saying like, oh, she looks really great under striking, but like it really makes me think, man, like I bet if someone thinks they're the better striker and they're her size, they could probably like, show out against her.
Potentially.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff that was landing for Horth, it didn't really seem to make much of an impact. So that was interesting to me. So I'm wondering what people try to do against her going forward after seeing this fight. But Demopoulos, she did what she had to do. She was scrappy. She was durable. I'm like, who has a harder head? Like, like her head was extra hard in this fight, and she used every brain cell in order to get in and try to do something. So good on her.
Are there any other fights you want to talk about? Or do you want to go to my list of links?
I could talk about Adam changing the channel before Jose Ochoa knocked out Cody Durden. I was pretty pissed about that.
You could have watched the playback?
So there were but it's always cool to watch like a knockout live. But we had a bunch of fights on at the same time. There was Dirty Boxing. There was BKFC, and then there was this one. And Adam's flipping through, and he's like, Dirty Boxing, let's watch so-and-so fight so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I turn back, and he's like, oh, yeah, and turns back, and Ochoa knocked him out. He's like, giving him a hug. God damn it. I don't even remember. Do you remember what he knocked him out with?
I think I wrote it down. Hold on. Maybe. Looking.
The first round though was pretty nuts. I remember just thinking, dude, this guy's not gonna stop throwing punches and kicks. He was just spamming, like just hitting all the buttons and not getting tired. I thought he was gonna gas out after the first round and a half.
Yeah, so he caught him with a nasty left hand.
Ooh.
And then it was, I think, a flurry got him down, and I think he got back up. Knocked him down with another left.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty
nice.
sure.
I'm
sure they'll correct me.
Thank you.
But it was
Thank you, Jess. And no thanks to Adam wanting to watch Jess fight.
Oh, how'd she do?
I don't remember.
Oh, I think she won.
I'm pretty sure she won. Yeah, the girl didn't look like much of a threat from what I saw.
I gotcha.
Yeah, she was teeing off on her.
Yeah, we heard Heidi's voice on that feed during weigh-in. And I noticed quite a few people, not quite a few. I noticed Rose and Buckley giving shouts about Heidi throughout fight week.
Good, nice. Yeah, I heard Rose in her post-fight speech say, we miss you, Heidi. So hopefully that gets a little more attention. Heidi Dean is one of the women who worked behind the scenes very diligently to make sure everything was run smoothly. She recently got let go. Reasons were just like kind of weird. So we're trying to campaign to get her back on there. But she didn't do anything wrong. They just decided they didn't need her anymore. And all the fighters are in disagreement with that decision.
We need her. She's one of those people that just made everything run smoothly. And she did it with grace and care like nobody else can. So it's she's missed. Her energy is missed. Her presence is, I think, necessary. But it's nice to always hear her voice. You know, we can like spot it out of a crowd. So heard her behind the scenes at the weigh-ins of Dirty Boxing.
Yeah, she's the 3. Look over here, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, baby. Like that's the woman on all the weigh-in videos that you see before they let her go, which was only a few weeks ago. So hopefully they bring her back. She's dearly missed. I'm sad about possibly going to a fight week without her being there. But yeah. So what links you got? I need something like feel goody after talking about that. I'm sad. I miss Heidi. I need something to lift my spirits before you dash them again.
Well, I don't know if this will lift your spirits, but it might give you a little laugh. 2 Brazilian politicians settled a dispute over a water park conservation project by fighting each other in a 3-round MMA fight. Yes,
that was so funny. So I read this on like my liberal news, The Guardian, and they were kind of upset about it. They're like, what does this mean? What's going to happen? This is Bolsonaro's fault. And I'm like, this is kind of funny. Like,
let him fight it out.
Especially when you see the fight, it's so bad. Like,
have you ever seen, I think it was like in Japan, and they were doing like judo. Like men in suits doing judo. And this is like years and years ago. Men in suits doing judo, taking people down because they can't come to an agreement.
It was like at one of those like meetings, right? It looked like a UN meeting or something. They had all the desk. And I know what you're talking about. I love when people get unprofessional. Like, I think the professionalism of like government and politics is so fake, and that's why someone like Trump was able to win, because he like broke the rules all the time, and everyone's like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. But like in some senses it is like interesting when people just say what the fuck they mean, you know. Like, I swear, if the Democrats fucking did that, then we wouldn't be where we are today. But like it's one of those things where just like take your shirts off and punch each other. Like,
I love it. You know what?
How great is that?
I think people would mind their P's and Q's a lot more if they knew that you could potentially get punched in the face.
Yes.
Like, act right.
Yes. Yo, do
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
I think they're onto something. I feel like we should have matches every, like, what is it? What is the thing that happens where they're all talking about stuff and trying to pass bills? Anytime that happens and you see like the senators going off on each other, it's like, you know how we'll settle this? 5 or 3 5s.
Fight club.
3 5s, and then a cage drops down in the middle of the
go. It was always funny. You know, back when I was, you know, a young fighter and I was teaching at different gyms, what would happen sometimes is we would have, this is obviously like not a legal operation, but we used to have like little fight clubs. And it was usually people, it was either like frats or like during like hazing, or there were some people that would just rent out the gym because they wanted to like have fights. So it would be 1-minute rounds. You know, people would hold mitts for them a little bit.
Wow.
They'd give them like headgear, mouthpiece, boxing gloves, and you just duke it out.
Funny.
It was hilarious.
It's like your own little street beefs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back before the street beefs were beefing.
Well, that's like the origin, right? Everyone knew a place where you could do that, or like heard of a place where that was happening. They're like, oh, now we can watch it on YouTube. Now we don't have to be from that town to see the fights. It's cool. Yeah, I think it's a good way to settle things too, because after you fight someone, or like, it's like when you're mad at a training partner and then you spar really hard and then you're just like, it's cool.
Fine.
It's cool. I got my licks in. So does she. It's all good now. It's like one of those moments. And I think a lot of stuff is, I don't know. It just gives a finite end to something like that. Like, hey, we may not agree, but this is what's gonna happen right now.
Let's duke it out.
Fair and square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just fight it out.
Yeah.
And then
if you want to change it, we could get a rematch going. I did hear that he got robbed, though. I did read. I forget which politician it was, but I think the one who wanted to open the water park or something got robbed, and so the other guy still was able to get what he wanted, even though he lost the fight.
That's politics for you.
I know. It's still politics. We can't escape
it.
Politics. I hate it. You got to finish the fight. You have to finish your laws, too.
I know. Well, I actually don't have any feel-good stuff.
God damn it, Jess.
I know.
All right, hit me with some misery.
I'm sorry. All right. This one, $56 million lawsuit, jiu-jitsu beginner paralyzed by his own coach. So this happened in Del Mar.
Years ago.
This happened a long time ago at it's Del Mar Jiu-Jitsu, and this had been buzzing all over San Diego County for a while, and probably in the jiu-jitsu community. But there was a jiu-jitsu coach in Del Mar that did a move to somebody who was like very, very new on the mats, and he did a move that rolled his neck. And this is the first time I've actually seen the footage of it.
Oh, what did it look like?
Oh,
did you have
it? It was not a move that you should ever do to a white belt, because they don't know how to move their bodies properly. It's like a fancy show-off move, and you see it just snapped his neck. So this person was...
Wait, do that again. How did that happen?
he was doing, so he had turtle and he was doing this like kind of fancy fun like jump over and then you can get the back take.
Ooh, yeah.
And the guy, again, when you're new to jiu-jitsu, you don't necessarily like move in ways that are proper to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
And so he had turtle. He went and jumped over his back to roll the guy and bring him on top of him, and his neck got stuck and his neck snapped and he instantly was paralyzed.
That's horrible.
No, it's terrifying. And so this has been in the courts and going on for years. And it finally came back. This is 2018, sorry. It finally came back that they awarded a win to the person that was injured.
Yeah.
And it's a bit scary because it leaves the door open for a lot of liability to gyms. Like, I don't think a waiver at this point will save people, which is supposed to be a safeguard against people coming in and, potentially getting injured. It will protect the gym. Luckily, this is insurance. I don't know how much will actually get paid out, but it's kind of crazy that it's been taking this long. It's a terrible tragedy that this person went into the jiu-jitsu mats and is never walking again. His life has forever changed. He's walking?
He's hiking.
What?
He's climbing mountains.
What? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's he had a really great recovery, and he's been able to bike, hike, walk around. But I think it took a lot of life out of his body. So like, even though he's still able to move around and do that type of stuff, he has to like go out with a friend. He has to plan rest. He has to make sure that everything's okay while he's doing it. He can't just like go on a hike like we can.
Whoa.
But it is awesome that he was able to recover for that, because that looked horrible.
That's gnarly.
Like, that looked really horrible. Because I looked it up because I saw something about they wrote, quadriplegic climbs mountain. I'm like,
excuse me?
How does that make sense? But no, he was able to make a great recovery, and he's still able.
Man,
he just doesn't have full. I think he doesn't have full function of his limbs, but he's still able to move them and walk. And I think he uses a cane when he goes on hikes and stuff like that.
Man.
So yeah, he lucky for him, he's still able to enjoy life a bit, as opposed to being
Well, this article said permanently paralyzed.
No, and he is paralyzed, but he can walk, which I didn't understand.
I don't understand that.
Was a thing. But I had his Instagram. I'll find it for you. But he's walking around, but he just isn't the same as he used to be. Yeah. And the wild thing, so one thing that, because I know a lot of white belts are watching our channel, one thing you could do to protect this, because I feel like I heard from people that he was really strong. So the instructor was, trying to show him, okay, like, you're strong, but I can still out wrestle you and stuff. When you're a white belt, just chill, like, just move your body, try not to strength through stuff too much. And as you're learning, you can pick up the intensity, but like, there's no telling what kind of ego your instructor has, and they know how to move. Like, you're never going to beat the instructor. You know what I mean? Like, if you do, they're either letting you in, or maybe they're trying not to hurt you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times we have to avoid white belts because they're the most dangerous ones in the gym, because you try to save them from hurting themselves and they end up blowing your knee out,
It's like a baby snake.
Yeah. A baby snake,
like venom.
It's like a baby. Yes. It's like a baby elephant, like this, just stomping around. I'm like, I can, spear you at any point, but like, I don't want you to crush my ankles while you're doing it. So there's this weird balance, I think, when you have someone, because he was very active and everything, which is also heartbreaking that he had this happen to him. But, when you're ignorant, you don't know, and you're like having a good time tussling with someone, and they might get upset because you're like getting the better of certain positions, and you're not supposed to because you're a white belt. So then they pull out the fancy move, and now you're fucked. So just as a safeguard, and I know it's like telling women to protect themselves from getting raped. It's like, well, tell the men not to rape them. Like, the instructors obviously like be careful with your white belts, but white belts, if you're going into a gym and trying something new for the first time, don't go all crazy. You know?
Yeah. I know a couple of schools. The one that sticks out to the forefront is Legion American Jiu-Jitsu, and they do a great job of having white belt specific only programs, and it's like over the course of several weeks, and it just teaches you like white belt etiquette, jiu-jitsu etiquette, hygiene, and make sure that
That's a big one.
make sure that you know how to move your body and defend yourself in a safe way so that everybody has a positive experience. So I really love what they're doing, and I know certain other gyms are kind of following suit with that. I love that idea of just getting everybody safe in jiu-jitsu, because it can be a life-changing experience for the better. And it's a great sport, and, anybody can do it. So it's important to, learn and set your ego aside and just, pay attention out there.
Yeah. And everyone's learning shit on YouTube too. So another white belt or a blue belt could have done that to him too. It's the Wild West out there, but schools do what they can to keep you safe. And this is like one of those like once in a million times kind of incident, where just like two really bad things happened at the same time and it led to catastrophe. But that's horrible. Do you have more depressing stuff?
Yeah, I do.
Oh God.
This one's been buzzing around for a while. BJ Penn is arrested again. This is an old link.
I don't know if I can like go on with my Sunday after all this.
There's another one. JDM on fighter pay.
Wait, no. Talk about BJ Penn. You can talk about BJ Penn.
The headline reads, BJ Penn has been taken into custody for violating a restraining order. He's been arrested a handful of times for just kind of
being crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like he's just having kind of a psychotic break. I don't know if it's what his mental health issues are, if it's drug induced. I don't know. There's been a couple of MMA sites that are picking it up and just talking about how he doesn't believe his family is his family.
That sounds like schizophrenic. It sounds like schizophrenia, and it's one of those things where, and it could be drug induced since it's such a later in life. Usually this type of thing happens mid-20s.
Yeah.
So it could be drug induced. He could have been fighting it for it. It could be something that's been part of him forever, and it's just now become such an issue that they couldn't keep it away from the public eye, but it's at the point where his family has given up on, taking him in. And sometimes that's what has to happen. Like mental health care in our country isn't great. So like a lot of times when you need help, you can't be told to get help. Like you have to want help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they can't just put him in a psychiatric ward unless he does something that puts himself in danger or somebody else in danger. Getting arrested because you break like a restraining order isn't the same thing as getting arrested because you ran someone over with your car. You know what I mean? So like it would have to be something bad for him to get made to get the help that he needs, if it is in fact like something like a schizophrenic breakdown or mental breakdown or something like that where he needs medication. But it's sad because a lot of times when someone is claiming, oh, you're not my family, it's because they're trying to make them get help. Like a lot of times it's because they're like, you're acting different. It's like, well, you're acting different, and like this is what happens in someone's brain who's having that type of thing go on. And it would really suck either way. Like I almost feel like it would be more hopeful if it was drug induced or if it was just him being an addict, because at least you can get rid of that. Like you can get rid of the drugs in your system and almost go back to normal. But if it is a mental breakdown and it's permanent, then that's it's really sad.
It is. Do you want to make predictions for next week? Do you want to talk about
As
a more
on a
uplifting?
on the upside.
Uplifting. We have a big main event with Jamal Hill and
Huge.
Khalil Roundtree.
This one makes me sad. I like both of them. And
They're both great guys.
yeah, and Khalil did this like little animal what was it? What's the place called where you have like a dog pound thing?
Like a rescue?
It was the Nevada ASPCA or whatever. With that one, right? Mm-hmm. They did like an ad for that in Vegas with the UFC, and he grabbed this dog that looked just like Butcher.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Now you're rooting for him. He's your pick.
Yeah. if he got Butcher's cousin, if he adopted Butcher's cousin, then that's my pick. But I got to go with Jamal. I feel like he's gotten so much slack for the few times that he's lost. And I think he really shows, even in his losses, he shows like that same power, that same ability to just be durable. I feel like Jamal should be able to, just put the pressure on him. I was hoping that Jamal would go for some takedowns because it felt like he wanted to in this last fight. Like there were moments where he was good on the ground and he just never initiates it. Like he's a black belt. You think that eventually he'd work that into his game to open up his strikes, but he's always enjoyed staying on his feet and banging. And I'm sure Khalil's going to want to do the same thing.
Both of them, I think that both of them have amazing skills in striking. I think that's where they both thrive, but I do agree with you in saying that Jamal Hill has a few more tools to his tool belt. I think he has the ability to take the fight to the ground. He has the submission skills, and we just haven't seen that from Khalil. He wants to keep it standing. He wants to, throw those devastating kicks. What am I doing?
I just pushing it closer.
Oh, thank you. I was trying to project.
I keep losing you like every now and then.
Trying to project. I think that Jamal has more tools. I would love to see him add that takedown attempt into his game, especially in this fight, because Khalil is, as dangerous on the feet as Jamal is. I think that it comes into play where you have this confidence in your striking. You can knock somebody out, so you're always looking for that. And I think sometimes fighters forget that they have more tools in their tool belt.
Yeah, you fall in love with that. Like knockout is such a fun thing. Like,
I mean, if I knew what it felt like, I feel like I would, I would always look for it.
Well, I kind of know what both feel like. And I got to say, knockout's a little better than submission. Submission's cool and all. Like, it definitely feels like, I don't know, it feels kind of mean, like kind of evil to submit someone. Like, you're making them give up. Like, you make them submit to you. I don't know.
Making me all tingly right now.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's weird. It's different.
I love it.
But getting knocked out isn't really a choice. So I think the knockout feels better because you're just like, shut up, instead of like, are you done? 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 Okay, you're done. So it's different. It's cool both ways. But yeah, I can see how someone would fall in love with that knockout. Also, I feel like knockouts are not easier to do, but less tiring. Like you see a lot of people just swing bombs at the end of fights, like the Usman Buckley fight, like swinging bombs. It's a lot easier to swing bombs at the end of a fight than to get a takedown and secure a position at the end of the fight.
Depending on who you are as a fighter, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, Usman was swinging bombs, like it's easier to just sit back and be like, all right, let's just sit down on our punches and try to make it look big for the end of the round. And every now and then you get a knockout. It's a lot harder to get that sub in the last round unless the other guy is just totally gassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that squeeze. Like I almost hate getting submission mid-round when I'm sparring, because then you gotta get up and keep fighting. I'm like, but I won.
Well, in a fight, you get to go home.
Yeah, in a fight,
and you get both your checks.
Home. But just the tiredness, I feel differently. And maybe it's just because I'm a striker to begin with. But I don't know. I feel like Jamal is definitely not given his grappling the credit, or not the credit, but just the shine that it deserves. You see him getting in these good positions against guys, but then not going back to it later in the fight. And I think that would be a good kind of wrinkle for him to bring out in this one, especially knowing that Khalil has no interest in being down there. Like, put the person where they don't want to be, like if anything, it's a mind fuck. And even if you don't get to that submission position, you can at least make them worried about something before you start throwing your bombs, your left highs, all those things that you've had success with in the past.
In the co-main event, we have Fiziev against Bohamondes.
Ooh.
So this is a really exciting one. And I know that they've been hot on Bohamondes. And
yes,
Fiziev, he just did the UFC a solid, stepping up on, a little short notice against, oh my God, I can picture his face.
It was,
help me.
Gaethje, right?
Thank you, Gaethje. Yeah. It's an interesting fight. And this is one of those things where Fiziev has those takedown abilities. And I think that he should probably kind of push that. Although Bahamondes has shown that he does have skills on the ground. He primarily likes to keep it standing, and he does have a lot of length and reach standing.
Yeah, his submission of Jalen Turner was really impressive.
That was unexpected for
I was
me.
like, what are you doing? Get out of there. Like, it was really, I was surprised. And I know Fiziev is going to be looking out for that type of thing. I do feel like Fiziev has the experience advantage at a higher level, but Bahamondes has been in there for a long time. Like, his record is now 17-5, so that's a ton of fights. And even though they weren't all, wait, where was he? He had a Contender Series fight in 2020, so he's been in the UFC since then. He's had a slow burn, but now he's becoming quite a name, and people expect him to just get his crazy knockouts and his crazy submissions. But yeah, I don't know. I think Fiziev lost a bit of his shine. He used to be a lean back bitch, right? There's a guy who leans back on all the kicks.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna see him hit the matrix in this because of Ignacio's really crazy kicks that he likes to throw. But he just people were really hype on him too, and because he stepped away for a while, they weren't sure what was going on with him, and he just lost his shine. I think a big win over Bahamondes would put him right back in that position, and I feel like he can. Like, the Gaethje fight was short notice. He was training for his comeback, but he didn't know it was going to happen that soon. So I think, I think this is a good chance for him to get back in a win column. I think he could do it, but I always count out Bahamondes out. Like, I feel like he just looks 10 times better every time he fights. Mm-hmm. So
he's definitely he's growing into himself as an athlete, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it is. Who else we got on that card?
We have, hold on, let me scroll back really fast.
That's interesting. It's worth a mention.
Oh my goodness, worth it. I was just gonna go down one.
Yeah.
And talk about
it is.
Curtis Blades. Yeah, Curtis Blades and Rizvan Kunyev.
Ooh, he looks bulbous. Look at that belly.
Don't tell him you said that.
Look at this. Oh my
Don't
goodness.
tell him you said that.
Yeah. This guy is interesting. I don't know anything about him, but it looks like he's been set up to fight Curtis Blades a few times, and finally it's gonna happen. It looks like the fight just kept getting pushed back for some reason. Blades got sick on March 8th when they were supposed to fight, and then before it just got rescheduled. So he's coming in straight off the Contender Series. This should be a easy one for Curtis Blades in comparison to the people that he's had to fight recently. Like anytime you get someone coming into the big leagues for the first time, you gotta like be excited about that opportunity because there's a different level in the UFC. I mean, I hate to say it, but like we saw it with the Patchy Mix fight, it's not just the skill level, but it's also the opportunity. Like there's so much more reach with the UFC. That it's the name brand. It's like, you know, Xerox or Benadryl or whatever, you know, big name brand. Like you're not gonna be like, oh hey, I'm going into the histamine blocker. You know, no, you're going the Benadryl of MMA, like, so there's like that mind fuck there, but then also like everyone who's in the UFC is getting paid enough to just be in the UFC, like they're getting paid enough to just fight for the most part. So every fight is tough, and every fight that Curtis Blades has had, win or lose, has set him up for a phenomenal performance versus someone who hasn't had that experience yet.
Yes. Well, he has some impressive finishes, but again, like as to what you were saying, it is not the level of competition that Curtis Blades has experienced. So this is a huge opportunity for Kuniev to step up, to rise to the occasion, to impress the UFC, you know, and earn his spot. So it's, I don't know if this was kind of a short notice get together or if it had been planned out for a long time.
Yeah, it's just kept moving.
Okay.
So they've known about each other for like the whole year. Like this whole year, Curtis Blades
They've
has
been
preparing.
daydreaming,
yeah,
eating, sleeping, breathing, thinking about each other.
Do you think that benefits the more veteran person or the newcomer having someone's name for like 6 months before you fight them?
I think it's like kind of an individual opportunity. I think it kind of, if there's more footage on Curtis Blades at the highest level to show where his holes are, where you can, you know, get the advantage. And then you look at like the newer up and coming fighter who, I mean, he has lots of fights to his credit. He has lots of, you know, wins and finishes, but he's still developing himself. And so I think sometimes it tends to play to the advantage of the younger fighter.
Yeah.
Just because Curtis Blades is who he is at this point as a fighter. I'm not saying he's not learning, growing, and evolving, but there's just a little bit less mystery to him.
Yeah. I was just going to pull up some highlights real quick, but this is a full fight. I didn't want to sit through the whole thing. But he has fought in PFL, and I feel like with PFL, you do have a similar thing where a lot of those fighters are able to just fight off of their salary. You don't have as many fighters that are able to do that, but, you know, definitely this Ferreira guy, he's the one who fought Thingy, right? Who fought Francis Ngannou?
Is he?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and Ngannou like knocked him out in 2 seconds.
Oh.
But he looks like he has a strong wrestling base, like, you know, no shit, Russian. But that's one thing that Curtis Blades has always leaned on, so maybe the odds will be pretty close just because of that. Maybe they're expecting him to be able to out wrestle Curtis Blades. We'll see. We'll see. It's a good one, though. I'm excited to see Blades back out there. Big fan of him. I don't care what y'all say.
Who's saying what?
People just, they find out who everyone else doesn't like, and then they jump on it. Like, you see that happen so much with, like, just a dog pal. Like, okay, we all like this person this week. We all hate this person, you know, and then it becomes a thing. And I feel like he's one of those, like, everyone hates Curtis Blades.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, he's great. He's such a nice guy. Very respectful.
Well.
Has the slightest lisp.
I thought it was a stutter.
Yeah, no, it is a stutter. I was thinking of Ovens.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a sweetheart, too. Oh, yeah. Any other fights?
No.
What about on the prelims? Any girls? Oh, yeah. Forgot where we are. Oh, no, there's a girl. Hey.
There's two.
Hey.
I don't know any of these ladies.
Ooh. Ooh, let's practice pronouncing their name.
Zalesnikova.
Ooh, okay. Good job.
Thank you.
Versus
Dixon. I got it.
Good
I
job.
nailed that one.
Good job. Where are these women? Okay.
Let me see. For some reason, my internet is very slow today.
I think I know Melissa Dixon. No, Mess Dixon. I feel like I've watched her fight before.
Well, Zalesnikova is coming off of a loss to Eileen Perez. And before that, she had a win over Montserrat Rendon.
Oh, she's strawweight though, right?
No, she's a bantam.
Okay, I'm so all over the place. We don't know who these girls are. I'm gonna stop pretending like I do.
Anyways, yeah, we have 2 female bouts. Very exciting.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited to see that go down. And what's it called? Baku?
I don't know. I just somewhere overseas.
UFC Fight Night, and
it's at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi.
In Baku, Azerbaijan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a first name and a last name.
I'm going to pull up Baku, Azerbaijan, and see if you can find it on the map. Okay, cool. Well, we got those fights happening next week. And, yeah, we went 130 because you guys were so excited last time when we went to 140. Dang, they're in the nice little
deep in there
C area. Okay, that's cool. Like, I want to go to some random ass place like that. Like, just fucking feel like Indiana Jones going to some like random country and trying to win some gold medallion or something. Yeah, this is in the Caspian Sea, right by the Caspian Sea.
So exotic.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I bet there's some cool touristy type things that you could do if you were in fight week there.
Ooh, they're pretty close to Georgia. Maybe we'll get a Marab appearance.
Oh, for sure. He's over there with Nina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where they're going to touch down.
Yeah, he's doing his victory lap.
Tour. Victory lap with Nina. What does that consist of?
Lots of partying, lots of TikTok dances.
Oh, yes. Lots of throwing her around in her push-up bra with the squishy noise. What is it? It's always like or something like the Pillsbury Doughboy noise. We need to start putting some sound effects in our videos. All right, guys. Well, this has been another Two Straws. We haven't checked yet, but if you haven't given us your address, the winners, make sure you do. We'll check again today, or we'll check for the first time today and see if we have your address, and we'll send you your stuff. And make sure you subscribe and become a member so that you can support the pod and help us get a new set. Right now, our backs hurt.
My knees are killing me.
Our knees are killing. We need to show our legs.
I'm too old for this. I have to lean back. That's why you can't hear me like as the podcast goes on, because I have to lean back. My neck is crinked.
We're on a floor chair, which is made for children
who can sit crisscross applesauce no problem.
Yeah, all day long. That's what
my legs are asleep.
Dude, my hip is like, if you don't move, I'm dislocating right now. All right, so on that note, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.